हाँ सर, ठीक है.
What is this, yaar, Anish? Like seriously, I can see your nipples in them. And plus, you know, you'll merge into the wall. Who I'll be talking to then? Wearing white?
Okay.
Please go change.
Now.
I mean, it is better than the last one, but are you in a couple goal with that dummy next to you? Just see her.
Sir, अब.
Much better, you know, you'll like this relaxed, easy. Nice checks on you.
Thank you sir. सर देखिए, ये तो बहुत टफ है. अब एक काम करिए, इधर आ जाइए, प्लीज प्लीज प्लीज. हेलो सर.
Hi.
प्लीज बैठिए.
Yes.
हेलो गाइस, वेलकम टू द भट्ट शो. और आज के हमारे गेस्ट है मिस्टर अरुण जे चौहान. He is a Filmfare award winner costume designer who's worked in numerous projects with humongous production houses. आप अपने फेवरेट एक्टर्स और एक्ट्रेसेस को देखते हो फिल्मों में और बोलते हो क्या लग रहे हैं, फिर उन्हीं का स्टाइल कॉपी करके खुद चमकते हो. वो सब इनकी वजह से.
Katrina is an observant, okay? She's observant, and she's not one of those actors who will mingle with the entire crew. Dream which started like when I was like hardly in 3rd or 4th standard. This is the day right now. You know, I have actually got it.
All the costume people, they're very particular with tags mat nikalna, tags mat nikalna.
Uska reason pata kya hai? Tag ka reason ye so that they can go and return the stuff. Shooting intimate scenes is not easy, you know. My assistant on set, she used to get so stressed about those scenes because, you know, actors' comfort is more important at that point of time. And at that same time, it has to look aesthetically beautiful and aesthetically convincing also. Not all, but like Dharma is still in the line abhi.
Sir, इतनी गर्मी में आप कैसे काम करते हो डेली? मेरे को ये बता दो. We are sweating and all of that, but that's your main job every day. Hi Arun, pleasure to have you here. And so first of all, I generally start with everybody's journey, but here I would like to start with your filmography first.
Right.
Because मैं जब आपका पढ़ रहा था and I just thought कि it was so interesting and इतना diverse था. तो एक बार आप audience के लिए सारे फिल्मों के नाम बोल दोगे?
Thank you Anish for having me here. My journey started like 20 years back. I'm originally not from Mumbai, I'm from the north.
North where?
Actually, right now my mother is in Panchkula, which is a place just next to Chandigarh.
Yeah, of course.
Many people don't know about Panchkula, so I have to say Chandigarh. So my mother lives there, and but I've also grown up in like different places in Punjab because my dad had a transferable job. So we kept moving to different cities, but within Punjab, and eventually like we settled in Panchkula.
Okay.
So while growing up, I had the dream of, you know, like coming to Bombay and working for films, this, that. I'll tell you about that also, how it started. But coming back to your question, so yes, I mean, fortunately, yes, I've worked on a couple of projects which are like, you know, big league and, you know, with big directors and big production houses.
आप बहुत modest हो रहे हो, अब नाम ले लो, अब सीधा पिक्चरों के नाम ले.
So, I mean, lately, like, you know, एक था Tiger, Sing is Bling, दिल धड़कने दो, जिंदगी ना मिलेगी दोबारा, Luck by Chance was my first film actually, where I was a wardrobe assistant, yeah.
अच्छा.
And Bar Bar Dekho, and now web series as well, Scam, She, both the seasons, so that is going on.
So technically you have worked with all big production houses, am I right?
Not all, but like Dharma is still in the line abhi.
Okay,
Dharma is still, I still have to
but
work
that's
with
happening?
Let's see.
Okay.
Inshallah it'll happen someday.
So matlab, like what's the experience like? I mean, different production houses, big names, how the working changes, जो traditional production houses है and the modern ones, since you work with both.
Right.
So do you think there is a difference in professionalism, approach?
There is a difference. So my first film was Luck by Chance, where I worked with Excel Entertainment. So I considered that as my schooling in filmmaking. Okay, because I had not done films before. Prior to that, I had worked on like, you know, music video. Because when I came to Bombay, that was the time of Punjabi music videos and a lot of music videos in general. So I started with that. I started with the director who used to direct Punjabi music videos.
Achha.
So I started working with them. So they were like my initial school. I still like, I'm in touch with them. I still call them as my, like teachers. And then like I worked in a couple of music videos and, ads happened. And then, but I always wanted to work on a film, which eventually happened with Luck by Chance. So that was like Excel Entertainment. And I considered them as my school in terms of, learning how to work on a set.
Okay.
So, but I think Excel Entertainment for that time period was very modern, if I may say, in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the building of the entire crew.
Okay.
I think before, like films before that.
Can you explain this a bit more?
Like for instance, if you see, okay, lot of things like, when you, because now I work on films, so I see behind the scenes of like previous films. Previous films I'm talking like, let's say films of the 70s and 80s. The method was very different. Recently I saw, if you've seen Romantics on Netflix, did you see that?
Yeah.
So, you go back to those days when you watch that. Obviously, you were not even born at that point of time.
Yeah.
But when you watch certain shows like Romantics on Netflix, then you see Yashji's journey and how the films used to happen at that point of time. They're behind because they've spoken about how the films used to get made. So that was one, let's say that was the initial or earlier way of making films, which obviously progressed with time and everything. And in terms of the technicalities in the filmmaking. When I started working on Luck by Chance with Excel Entertainment, they had this whole system of, first AD, second AD, scheduling a film, and finishing a film in a certain like in a certain budget and in a certain time frame. These things were not really existed earlier, and that I got to know if you see the previous like 70s 80s ka behind the scenes. So
probably because of the young filmmakers who were running it, and
that is also one of the reasons. Plus, I think it's like science. It's like your mobile phone. With every month, a new mobile phone comes and a new technology comes.
जैसे OTT पे हो रहा है अभी,
Correct.
even more professional. So
correct. So I think it was the natural progression of filmmaking. I would say.
Okay.
Earlier, I think I'm also like like I said, I started my career when already this method of filmmaking was already accepted and followed.
Okay.
But earlier the things were slightly different.
So like going forward, because still it was being accepted and all of that, so there would have been production houses which might not have followed this thing, and you would have worked with them. तो आपको वहाँ पे फिर लगता नहीं था जब स्कूलिंग की आपकी स्माइल तो कुछ बता रही है?
Because I've done one or two projects like that, which I wouldn't name the person, like a really big actor.
No name, just like experiences.
Like a really superstar of 90s, okay? Like 80s, 90s superstar. I worked with him. I was his personal stylist, and I worked one of his films. I will not even name the film, okay? And he was still making the film the olden way.
Acha.
Yeah, which obviously, the times have changed here now. People have adapted to the new system of working, and I think it's important that you change with time. You have to adapt yourself to the running time, to the change. It's important, I think. They say the change is the constant, change is the only constant. So it should be like that.
So since you said you worked in ads before, so how is the different, like the process is different, and creatively how is it different?
Yeah, so ads is basically, it's only about client satisfaction. Like you have to just sell a product. So there's no like a story behind the character. You don't develop a character in an ad. But when you do a film, it's an entire characterization of each and every person in the film. So my process is I like to read a lot. So when I get a script, I read first. I read it extensively, and I read it like how you read a novel. So when you're reading, you get these visuals in your head. So based on that, then I do my referencing. Okay, there are various characters. Then I get images from, let's say, Google or Instagram or Pinterest. Then you put it all together, and then you meet your director and you give a presentation to the director. Okay, this is how I visualize the character to be, and depending, and how the story is going in the film. Based on that, you work on different colors, color palette. What is the season? Where is the film set? What is the season? Are we shooting in summers or are we shooting in winters? And what is the economics of the person? Like how rich or a poor or middle class the person is. So based on that, you
make references and you kind of work on that. Okay.
So I think personally, like my process also, I do a lot of observation. Like I like to observe people around me. So wherever I travel, like whenever, if I'm sitting in a mall or I'm going anywhere, or if I'm at the airport, I'm always observing people.
I think it's a it's a profession thing also, like
Yeah.
entire industry as an
Yeah.
actor also you're told
Yeah.
ki observe and
You know
all
how
of
people
that.
are dressed up,
Yeah.
you know, like what they're wearing, why they're wearing, you know, like their personal style. So I try to incorporate those elements also in my characters. In
Achha,
between.
this brings me to this question. So you said you start with the script first,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But when there's a big actor in a film,
Right.
a famous actor,
Right.
so कुछ ऐसा inputs आते हैं starting से, or you have to keep certain things in mind, probably not satisfying your creativity to the. आप समझ
So
रहे
you,
हो ना मैं
you know,
क्या
I
बोल
know. So you have to find a balance there. You know, there, you know, your director comes into picture. You know, it happens all the time actually. You know, when there's a really big name involved, and ऐसा नहीं है कि that they will tell you, okay, I want to wear only this. But if you have something in your mind and you feel that, okay, fine, you know, like let's say this jacket is really good for this character, and you speak to the actor and the director, if they're convinced, they may just try it out. Okay, fine, you know, let's just give it a try. But sometimes actors are adamant, you know, they're stubborn. In fact, there are actors who are very stubborn. They are not even willing to budge. They're like, nahi, mujhe nahi pehna hai. I don't like this. Even if as a designer I feel no, this is accurate, this is appropriate for the character. No. Sometimes some directors also behave like that.
अच्छा.
Yeah, that no, it doesn't work for me. So you have to find a balance, I guess.
तो आप कैसे डील करते हो? थोड़ा इरिटेशन तो होती होगी क्योंकि that's your main job.
I know.
And somebody else, ठीक है, they have their vision.
I
but
mean, recently, I'll give you a very recent example. So I just did a film, which is a kids film actually.
okay.
And I shot in Manipur. So I took up that project because I've never shot in Manipur. I wanted to visit Northeast and I wanted to experience the entire Northeastern culture. So I took up that project primarily because of that reason. So I can't tell you about the story or anything, but there was this one shirt which I really wanted to use for the main child. It's a kids film, so the main child, because I wanted to use that particular shirt and that particular fabric for the climax scene. And I, you know, like I tried so hard to convince my director, let's use this, let's use it. She did not agree. She just didn't agree. Eventually, I was like, fine. Even, you know, after the film got over, we were wrapping up all the clothes. So I looked at the shirt, I was like, I wish I could have used this shirt.
Now you look like you have just like, you know, gotten comfortable with this fact कि चलो हो गई. But starting में तो irritation कभी हुआ है ऐसा कुछ set पे?
होता है यार, lot of times.
कि गुस्सा आ गया यार, ठीक है, fuck it and I don't want it.
Yeah, lot of times.
अच्छा.
Lot of times. But I think, see, every industry, they have their own pros and cons. And I think every profession has certain things which you may not be okay with. But I think this is what it is.
Is it just with big actors or with like probably actresses are more?
Actresses definitely are more finicky.
Because you have directed Katrina Kaif. I love her. She's my childhood love.
No, I never styled for Katrina, but yes, I've
No,
worked
I'm
with
just saying
Katrina.
because you worked with her. So like, you know, like was it difficult to, you know, kind of design her and all of that?
So Katrina, see, my observation, Katrina is an observant, okay? She's observant. And she's not one of those actors who will mingle with the entire crew. She's not like that. You know, she's quiet most of the time. Like say, and she will only speak to, let's say, the first AD, not all the ADs. You know, she's like that. But she's an observant. She would know what is going on, who's doing what work, and what is each and every crew member's contribution to the film. I like Katrina like that way. But I haven't like styled for her as of now. I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah. But at times, you know, when we were shooting for Kala Chashma's song, I was looking into all the dancers' costumes, and you know, I had to meet the director, and she was rehearsing at Bosco's studio. So she came and, you know, she looked at all the fabrics and she was like interacting with me, trying to understand, okay, what is the play like about the song and everything. So
okay.
go ahead.
सर इतनी गर्मी में आप कैसे काम करते हो डेली? मेरे को ये बता दो. You're sweating and all of that, but that's your main job every day.
Yeah.
Like what keeps you going? Actually, I want to ask this कि अब honestly, okay, being very frank, as an actor, I get validation when I'm on screen, and because technically actors become, you know, the face of it. Unfortunately, in this industry, the people who are behind the camera, who are, I think, even doing probably first ones to come and last ones to go.
Yeah, which is also hair, makeup, wardrobe.
Exactly, everybody I'm saying, and you know, and they are doing everything in these conditions, and we don't value them. So, what keeps you going?
I think number one thing which I have observed to sustain and to make it in this industry is the passion, the natural passion that you need to work in this industry. It's a very ruthless place to be around here. There's like, you know, it's not an easy place to be. So I think what keeps me going is the passion. Like I love my job. I really enjoy it.
Okay.
Like I like being on set. So that's one thing which keeps me going. I'll tell you something very honestly. I have decided that the day I feel internally, yaar, bas bahut ho gaya. Bas I've done whatever I wanted to do. I've had my share of fulfillments and everything. I've done whatever I wanted to do. Probably that day I'll leave this place. But that feeling hasn't happened as of now.
Do you have a checklist?
I do.
If you can share it?
I mean, the biggest checklist was it was always a dream to win a Filmfare. That happened 2 years back.
Of course. हाँ.
Yeah, वो
I
था
know
मतलब
about it.
that I'm being extremely shameless and honest about it. मुझे था कि यार लाइफ में एक बार Filmfare
चलो वो
चाहिए.
moment थोड़ा describe करो.
So I will take you maybe like to 1993.
Okay.
How the dream started.
ठीक है.
I was watching, this was DD days, okay, Doordarshan days. So I was watching Filmfare ceremony, first time on DD National. It was a late, I think it was telecasting around 9 p.m. types. And I was perhaps in 3rd or 4th standard, I think. I was very young here. So I was glued to that ceremony, the Filmfare Award ceremony. I was so, like, I was a huge Madhuri fan. And Madhuri Dixit was nominated for Beta. As best actress, and Anil Kapoor was nominated for best actor, and they had won it also that year. And I was totally mesmerized by that, that event. What a grand event here! This award ceremony, Filmfare. Like I was fully blown away by that. I think that dream started then, because end of it, it got me thinking, how is it people who've attended this, attended this event, who are part of this event, who've been nominated, who won, who took away these trophies back home. How does it feel for them, yaar? So I know the dream started then, winning a Filmfare. Maybe one day I get to win a Filmfare. वो था, वहाँ से it started. And what also got me, my love for film started. I'm a 90s child, so that was the time when VCRs came to India. So my father bought one VCR. And me and my elder brother, so it became like a weekend thing. Chalo ji, go to a video library, pick up a cassette and watch it. And I think in that time, 90s ki na, almost every film that released on Friday, me and my brother, we had seen it. So my love for film started then. And we were growing up in Mohali and other places in Punjab, but we had access to Hindi films. So that's how my love for film started. So the whole journey for films and coming to Bombay, it goes back to that time.
So cut to the day you got to know that you're winning an award, that to Filmfare Award.
So I was at home. I was making a PPT for Modern Love, which is one of the stories I was doing with Hansal Mehta sir. So I was working on a PPT for that, and I got a message on my phone. I didn't check because I was busy doing my work, and it was a message from the production designer of Scam.
Acha.
Then it was a WhatsApp message. Then I opened. She's like, "Hey Arun, we've been nominated for Filmfare." I'm like, okay. Then just to double check, I went onto the site and opened the site and just saw it, just to be sure. Okay, fine. Then I saw mine and I was like, that moment felt very surreal that, I've been nominated. I picked up the phone, I called her my mother. And believe you me, my voice was trembling just to tell her that, I've been nominated for Filmfare.
Oh.
So, so that was quite a big high. This was on 2nd December, and a few days later we got to know, okay, there's an event happening now for the awards and everything. And all my friends who know me since childhood, and I had shared the news that, I've been nominated, and everyone was like super excited, more excited than I was. Okay, wow, yaar, it's going to be a big day, you're winning, let's just see, yaar, let's see how it goes. And we went and I asked my best friend to, come and,
कोई और competition लग रहा था आपको उसी साल? कि
Not really. Not really. Not really.
Okay.
I was very hopeful. I'll be honest, I was very hopeful.
ठीक है.
But you never know, because people say, okay, awards can be bought also. So, I was like, yeah, let's see, let's attend the event. You never know. If it's meant to happen, it'll happen. So me and my friend, we went for the event, and the day prior, I got a call from the Filmfare people, and they were like, this is a reminder for the event tomorrow. And in my head, yeah. I was like, of course, I know, yeah, it's a big day tomorrow. But I was being very like, whoa. I was trying to underplay and control my emotion. I said, yeah, no, I remember I'll be there. And then she was like, Anuradha from Filmfare, she's like, Arun, listen, you have to come. That gave me a little bit of,
idea, of course.
Maybe, the way she was forcing that you have to come. I was like, okay, maybe. So me and my best friend, we went for the event, and Isha Kopikar, they had invited, to give that particular announcement. So the moment she took my name, I was like, it just felt surreal. Wow, man, it's happened. The dream which started like when I was like hardly in third or fourth standard. This is the day right now.
Correct.
I have actually got it. So that felt extremely special to me.
बहुत खास जगह रखी है उस trophy को आपने.
It's in Chandigarh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
चलो, where the
Yeah.
dream started, hopefully.
Yeah, I know. So I'm very happy with that.
Okay, so let's go back to the profession and just to explain, like, okay, I just want to remove the perceptions around this department. So, what is costume designing?
See, many people think, okay, many people think costume design, you just have to go to the malls and buy clothes.
Correct.
No, that's not it. Costume design is I think, is a very serious part in the entire filmmaking, because let's say suppose you play an actor, okay, and you play a host, let's say, and you dress up randomly. It's incorrect, right? So that's costume design, basically.
Correct.
That is costume design. So many, like you have to understand the character inside out. That's
It's a
the
very
whole thing.
creative job
It is
कि
a
आपको
creative
पूरा
job.
depth में
Yeah.
जाना पड़ेगा. Like you explained before that कि वो कहाँ का है, economic
Correct.
status क्या है,
Correct.
like nature and all
Yeah.
of that also influence a lot.
Yeah, many people just think, like when I speak to all these fashion students who are just out of college, they're like, oh, we want to be a stylist. It's you have to go to the mall, get stuff. No, that could be styling, but that's not costume design.
Okay, so
These
these are
are
two different.
Yes.
Costume designing
Costume
and
design
costume
different.
styling.
Fashion styling is different. Fashion styling could be part of costume design, but costume design and costume design.
Okay, थोड़ा सा मुझे समझ नहीं आया exact difference.
Like for example, I tell you, okay, like you have to design for various characters in the film,
Correct.
and let's say the film is set in a very middle class setup. Ab a middle class ki economy is such a, they wouldn't be going to, let's say, a very high end Armani or like Armani or let's say Dior and buying the clothes from there. No, they will be probably going to a Reliance or a Max, buy stuff from that. And keeping in mind the color palette that you're working on in the film. It could be where the film is set. If it's set in, let's say, some winter place, cold place, and set in winters, you go and pick up woolens. You go in, and if you're, then you will not be shopping in Bombay for that, because Bombay doesn't have winters. Then you have to go to a cold place.
Correct.
You have to go to the place where the film is set, so that the what you give to the actor or the character, it's more authentic, it's more real.
Okay.
Like for example, when I was doing Chalang, I went to Chandigarh, I went to Delhi and bought all I did all my pickups from there, from those places.
Okay.
Yeah, because the film was set in winters.
The films have that much budget.
Yeah, of course,
Okay.
of course. I mean, इतना budget तो
यार
होता
हम
ही है
छोटे
यार.
लोग हैं, हमें पता नहीं है, तभी
नहीं,
पूछ
इतना
रहा
budget
हूँ
होता है
आपसे.
यार, इतना budget होता है.
ठीक है.
But like the last film that I did, which was set in Manipur, there entire sourcing was in Manipur,
Okay.
because it was catering to that that area. So yeah, that's that.
तो सर सोर्सिंग का थोड़ा प्रोसेस समझा दो कि होता क्या है exactly.
So what happens is, when you get a script, when you made your PPT and you have your discussion with your director and actors, then you kind of set a look. Okay, this is how I visualize my actor to look like in the film and in this time frame, let's say. So then you start your prep for that.
Okay.
Then you go to the market. You can go to the fabric shops. You go to, like, let's say, ready-made stuff. If the character's proportions are such that ready-made would fit the character, because see, you also have to understand nowadays. See, there are very few people who actually get the clothes tailored. People go to the market and just buy ready-made stuff. This is the earlier it used to be the other way around. You used to buy the fabric first. I'm talking only about the normal people. You used to go buy the fabric first and then go for tailoring. Now it's the other way around. Now everything is easily available. Now people just order things online as well.
Correct.
But having said that, if your actor's body type is such and the look is such that you can pick up some ready-made stuff, then you go to the market or you place an order online, and then you see that if it fits into the character's look or not, and then, or if not, then if you are hunting for something which is very, very specific but it's not available in the market, then you create it. By creating that, maybe you find a fabric, something, or you paint the fabric, then go to the tailor, then make it, then age it. Because in films, another thing which is important is, that is why I'm stressing on the word costume design. The clothes have to look a little aged. It can't look ekdam se fresh until unless the scene is such.
Correct.
Until unless it's a marriage sequence where everyone is dressed wearing something. Recently I was watching a film. Okay, it was a funeral scene in the film. Everyone is wearing stark brand new white clothes. It really bothered me because that's incorrect. If a death has happened, people just go. Not like, oh, I have to, go to the market, pick up the right, like the new white clothes and wear it. No. Death is a very serious situation, So these are the things which are important when it comes to costume design. So you have to understand the scene, you have to understand the story of the people behind of each and every character, where are they coming from.
Yeah, so like the ads I have done, for example, so all the costume people, they're very particular about tags mat nikalna.
Uska reason pata kya hai? Tags ka reason ye so that they can go and return the stuff.
Exactly, but ये normal procedure तो नहीं है या होता है?
See, when also like I said, if the actor's proportions are such that the actor can fit into the ready-made clothes, so you let the tag be for the fitting. And once it gets approved, then you must remove the tag, na? But some stylists, what they do is, I'm talking about these younger ones, okay? What they do is they use it and they return it.
यही हो रहा है, हर जगह यही हो रहा है. I've talked to my friend who's a costume stylist and she's doing that only.
But it's incorrect, no, it's wrong.
But are brands not, they don't understand?
Sometimes they get to know, makeup marks are there, they find out sometimes.
एक बार I was starting.
I have a friend, he bought something from Zara, he went to the wedding attended, returned after that.
I also have a Zara story, so I was standing in the queue and there was this girl who had like 5-6 bags. And तब शुरू ही किया था मैंने थोड़ा काम करना and so 10 मिनट से 15 मिनट से she's returning everything. Then I got to know he's a costume stylist that she's returning everything. I was like, यार सही है.
Now like certain brands and certain stores, they also like know me now. They know me not because I'm famous. I'm not famous. They know me because I go pick up the stuff and then I go back to return the stuff, which is being rejected by the director or the actor.
But what happens in brands which are like luxury brands? Like for example, like जैसे अभी just random example coming. अभी वो तू झूठी में मकार में I saw this wedding scene.
Yeah.
He was wearing Shantanu and Nikhil. So I was like, what happens in such brands? Is there like just a sourcing, give it, go back?
Yes, so those are done like on thank you basis as well.
Okay.
That okay, they provide it for the shoot, and because see normally if the shoot is spread over for a very long continuity,
okay,
then ideally it should not happen. But if it's like a 1-day shoot or a 2-day shoot, so brands are willing to give. Okay, fine, you use it because it's like a free publicity for them.
But they customize according to the actor.
Yes.
Okay.
And even if it's not really customized, but it can be altered to the actor's fittings, actor's measurements. So that also happens. So that's why brands kind of get associated because it's a free publicity for them. So that also happens.
But obviously a brand like perhaps the one I mentioned will only get associated with someone like probably. And that works on all levels.
Yeah.
Okay. And are there any like brands which are very friendly in that terms कि like एक department में एक बातचीत होती है ना कि नहीं यही से कर लो यहाँ पे easy है थोड़ा or maybe there's an understanding better.
I wouldn't really know but I think every brand they have their own set of policies.
Okay.
But one thing I know for sure that like brands का ये जरूर होता है कि don't when you're returning, it should be in a good condition. It can't be like you've ruined the outfit and bring it back. That shouldn't happen. So it applies to every brand. That like whatever you use, it should be returned back in the same condition so that they can sell it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm asking too many questions.
No,
it's just that for my understanding.
No, it's fine.
And just last question on brands. So if there's a new brand, if tomorrow I have to open a luxury brand and I want to put it, perhaps in a Purnia store.
Okay.
Or to perhaps make it popular, to kind of have this network with you guys that, please promote my, clothes or whatever, use my. So what's how to go about it? How to spread it in your network, perhaps?
See, I tell you what, in today's time, which I am also kind of learning, I'm very bad with PR, if you ask me.
Okay.
Like, I'm being very honest. I'm very, very bad with PR. I'm very bad with my own marketing. But I think in today's time, what is really important is things like Instagram. My friends, they're big time into like Instagram branding and everything. And they're like some of my close friends, they're doing really good business. Like they have really grown their business with Instagram popularity, Instagram branding itself. So I think networking is important. You reach out to as many people as you can.
Okay.
In today's time, especially in times of social media, it's very, very important in today's time. So that's the
Right.
way. If, like, you know, some people, like, I have one of my very close friends, they have a hairband brands. So I was shooting with Sara Ali and I just gifted her those hairbands. And she happened to wear it on one of the events, you know.
Oh.
So I'm just giving an example, you know, just reach out to as many people as you can.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
So coming back to costume designing, so it's just एक incident नहीं मतलब एक story share कर रहा हूँ. तो I had a friend and he was working as an assistant director on a film and so there was an intimate scene over there. So मेरे friend ने out of immaturity बोलो या क्या बोलो, he just made a statement that you know अब इसमें costume का क्या काम है. And then there was this costume girl. She just came from the scene. She worked on something and she came back and she kind of schooled him ki whatever. So what's your opinion on this entire story? I mean, like do you think
Any scene in the film, any scene, be it an action scene, be it a comedy scene, be it a romantic scene, be it an intimate scene, I think it's a serious business here. You know, like you said, some immature people, they do pass comments at times, so I think it has to be handled in a very mature manner.
Correct.
Like shooting intimate scenes is not easy, like
Of course.
If you've seen this series called She season 2, season 1, especially in season 2, we had too many intimate scenes. My assistant on set, she used to get so stressed about those scenes because actors' comfort is more important at that point of time. And at that same time, it has to look aesthetically beautiful and aesthetically convincing also. So if somebody passed that comment, I would say, don't be part of this industry then, like just grow up and, if you've chosen to work in a field where, yes, we have to shoot certain scenes. So you have to be just mature and I think just deal in a proper way. Yeah.
So this brings me to, are there any ethics or morals, especially for, I would say, costume department, because you have a lot of assistants who are working very intimately in terms of, dressing up an actor, perhaps an actress.
Yes.
So like all the people who are, new or coming up, or you have faced a situation where, probably someone chose the wrong side of profession and kind of went the other way. So ऐसे instances भी होते हैं और क्या ध्यान में रखना चाहिए?
I think when it comes to dealing with actors, now I tell all my assistants also, like you have to handle them with care. Like you never know what could trigger them. And for a director on set, actors are like gods for them because they are performing for you.
Correct.
So that's what I tell my assistant. Then let's not be in any situation that an actor's temperament or mood gets affected for whatever reason and we are responsible for that. That shouldn't happen. So you have to handle actors in a way, and certain things you learn with experience, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah. You have to, not just actor, I think you have to be respectful towards each and every crew member. I think that is also important.
No, I meant in the sense that, kind of, because you're styling an actress perhaps, and there could be, just a random situation, there could be guys in the costume department, or for that matter girls who are styling an actor. So ab hota hai na, while you're dressing up and all of that, thode kuch ethics ho ya morals ho which you discuss with your team ki boss.
I would say when it comes to actresses, I think I prefer if a female assistant is handling her. It's always better, so they're no because actors need to be comfortable. Correct. So I prefer it that way. Normally in my team, I always have a boy assistant and a girl assistant both. One of the reasons is that because I think for me as a creative person, it's important to see both the sides. Let's say, and whenever I work on any film, any project, when we are discussing anything, I always take both opinion, a boy's perspective and a girl's perspective. It's important for me. And eventually I do what I want to do, but just to see what he's thinking, what she's thinking, what is her point of view on this. I keep my team very involved into the project.
I'm seeing this a very common mentality in every guest have this thing that, and obviously everybody is doing really well, and then they're like, we listen to everybody, but end mein karta to apni hu. And legit people have said that as unanimously everybody. So Arun, in your career, अभी तक आपको ऐसा कोई moment आया जब कुछ बहुत crisis हुआ या कुछ हुआ, कुछ भी, because अब मैंने सुना है, मुझे पता नहीं कि शी के टाइम पे कुछ आपको कॉल्स वॉल्स आई थी या ये थी, आई एम नॉट श्योर बट इट जस्ट हुआ था.
So she got released, and because She season 1 had done quite well, so everybody was waiting for She season 2 to appear. And when they started streaming on Netflix, after a few days, and it was gaining popularity again.
Okay.
She season 2. After a few days, I got to know that apparently the Bohri community is not very happy with one character.
Okay.
The display of the character in the series, because whatever was shown in the series. So, and then they specifically mentioned how the character is dressed up also. He's been dressed up because he's a Bohri Muslim. So,
Like they called you and mentioned, or like mentioned somewhere else?
like they sent a letter. They sent a letter
Oh.
to Netflix and the production office. And they
Oh.
mentioned the dressing up of the actor as well in that.
Okay.
And so EPs forwarded me that, we've got this message. I was like, okay, I mean, do I need to be worried about it or something? Because see, as a costume designer, my job was to dress up the character authentically, as per the look, as per the brief given to me, and as per how the people normally dress up.
Correct.
So that happened, and then after that, somebody messaged me on Instagram. If you are the costume designer of this show, and if you've done it, it's very wrong on your part, this, that. Then I got a little scared. Then I called up my producers, like, okay, do I need to be worried about it? What? And he's like, Arun, just relax. Like, sadly, what is happening in our country now is that there could be an issue about anything now. Anything. No, we are living in those times now. So because of that, what has happened is that, whichever project you do, be it whichever platform you're working with, when you are, let's say, it just not only applies to costume designer, not to all the departments. There are certain things that you can't show in the show.
So
It's
even in
become like
OTT platforms now,
Yeah.
apparently they.
Yeah. Like when it comes to, let's say, certain designation,
Huh.
you can't show a designation like that, or, a position of a person. Or, even in Scam 2, when I was doing, we were clearly told that we have to stay away from certain things.
Acha.
We can't show so and so. So then I was little, to be honest, I was actually a little worried, when the message came to me on my Instagram that, if you were the costume designer, you should have been, and it was sent by a lady, that you should have been very careful. My only worry was tomorrow morning, next if I wake up, pata chale, this bunch of people waiting down my building, they want to beat me up or something. I was like worried about that.
But वो भी कितना research किया कि costume designer नाम, then Instagram, messaged.
सोचो. So मतलब I think when we say ना, okay, social media is very strong, social media is very strong, yeah. Anybody can approach you now.
और आप तो कह रहे हो आपका PR strong भी नहीं है, तब भी उससे ढूंढ निकाला
सोचो,
कहीं.
imagine. Somebody found me, कि oh, he's a costume designer.
But you didn't do anything about it, you just left it.
So my producer like, just relax, don't worry. They're like, we've also got a letter, so don't worry about it. And because I think that particular community, they were asking for that scene to be deleted from the series. I don't know what happened after that. I also didn't follow up, like whether that scene actually got deleted or not, I don't know.
अभी पठान में वो इतना बड़ा कंट्रोवर्सी हुआ था.
Like जो भी है, but the film was a big blockbuster. It was.
मतलब उस टाइम कॉस्ट्यूम डिजाइनर का क्या लग रहा होगा उनको.
Why in today's time, we're living in such a time that anybody would come up with any kind of issue. Like if.
But आप अगर अपने फिर future decisions में do you like kind of incorporate this? कि अब जैसे मान लो अब ये हो गया पठान का जो भी हुआ. So probably next time you are styling someone like a A-list actress and it's a
I think
beach scene.
फिर आएगा दिमाग में. I think you would want to be like careful and cautious. कि यार I don't want to get into some kind of controversy.
Exactly.
Unnecessarily. Like I'm doing my job, Like we are doing something that we are enjoying doing, and we don't want to end up like behind the bars or get beaten up by people. You know what I mean? So that's not our agenda any which way.
But according to you, आपने शी में जैसे उनको present किया था, that was the authentic way to do
that
so.
was the but I've not written the character. You know what I mean? If the character has been shown in a way, you speak to the writers about it, na yaar. I'm just doing my job as a costume designer. How that the character needs to be dressed up.
उनको but costume से problem था.
With the characterization overall.
Oh, okay.
With the characterization overall of that particular person. They were like, he's been dressed up this way, and it's a very it's a very pious kind of attire that person wears, and he has been presented as somebody else. So people were, so that community had an objection to that. They were very, very affected by that.
चलो, anyway, you're safe and everything is good.
Yeah, but
मैं
you
तभी
never
आज
know.
सारे शटर वटर बंद करा दिए यहाँ पे।
But you
मेरे को
never
जब
know,
टीम
like,
ने बताया
yeah.
किस्सा, मैंने बोला सेफ्टी फर्स्ट।
Yeah.
तो अब लुक टेस्ट की बात करते हैं। सो व्हाट्स द प्रोसीजर लाइक, होता क्या है लुक टेस्ट?
So basically, look test is a trial and error thing. Okay, like like how I mentioned that how we develop a character. So look test is basically a trial and error thing that you get various kind of costumes, and look test is done with proper hair, makeup, everything. Like how you visualize the character to look in the film. So that's a look test.
और ये शायद एक्टर्स जब तक फाइनलाइज्ड भी ना हो, व्हेन देयर आर 2-3 ऑप्शन, नॉट बिग एक्टर्स, तब भी होता है ना?
Yeah. So there are, you would say there are various stages of look test.
Okay.
Like one look test could be with an option of an actor. That could be one look test. Other look tests are like when the actor is final. Okay, we know this person is playing this part. So that is like a full and final look test. That is done with the hair, makeup, everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So you sometimes you take pictures, sometimes you also like shoot with a live camera and just see how this will look. I'll tell you something. Ranveer Singh's first look test, I was there with him when he was not
Really?
even when he was just being considered for Band Baja Barat. I was with him, so I met him. So director had told me कि I was working with Niharika Khan. She was a costume designer of the film. I was a water supervisor. So Niharika had told me that for this film they are considering a new boy. So just speak to him and ask him, give him a brief because Manish wants to test him. I said okay, Manish is the director. I said okay. So I spoke to him over the phone. Next time I met him, he came to Yashraj, and Yashraj used to have this gadda room, like a big premise, like a room, big room, where there was this big gadda in the room, where the script reading sessions used to happen. Abhi to I've not been to Vaira for a very long time, but I think that room doesn't exist now. So he came to that gadda room and he was like, जी मैंने कहा hi I'm Arun, like I spoke to you yesterday. जी मैं लेके आया. मैंने कहा you carrying some shirt? जी मैं लाया हूँ. And I was extremely polite, extremely grounded. मैं कहा okay, show me your options. Then he showed me various options, out of which I like 3-4. Then I showed it to my director Manish. मैंने कहा Manish is carrying these options. Which one you think is the best? कहता let's give him this check shirt. So that was my first meeting with Ranveer Singh. He was not final till then.
Oh.
So that was his kind of like a look test एक तरह से, like his test look.
तो फाइनल क्या हुआ फिर एंड में उनका?
Got the film,
no,
यार.
no, like costume wise, like were his options like good enough?
Yeah. He got it was a long.
No, why
time
I
ago,
asked
yeah.
this because I think मैंने किसी का interview सुना था, I think Anushka Sharma का. So she said that when she saw him for the first time, he came in some I might be wrong, but like red or green ganji with a
Possible.
t-shirt. So like his dressing sense.
Yes,
हाँ.
he's a Bombay boy. Yeah. He's born and brought up in Bombay. So his dressing up has always been very funky. But for this character Bittu Sharma, Manish obviously wanted him wearing like check shirt and jeans, something like that. So I had briefed him accordingly. Get these kind of shirts. And I think he was carrying some check. अब मुझे clearly याद नहीं. It was long time back, yeah. But I think he brought some check shirt and he was auditioned in one of those check shirts.
So these big actors, they have their personal stylists also?
Most of them, yes. Most of them.
Okay, so now do they interfere when there's a film or no?
Depends actually how strong the actor is. Totally depends on that. Ideally, they should not. But if you're making a film with really big names, so
लग रहा है आपने face तो किया ही है.
Yeah, it happens, yeah. But see, I tell you what, in our Hindi film industry now, that's what I like about Hollywood. You have like one HOD for every department normally. Like there's only one production designer, there's only one costume designer. In Hindi film industry, what happens is an actor has a personal costume designer, an actress has a personal costume designer, then secondary is a personal costume designer. That shouldn't happen because it when it comes to the overall the look of the film, it gets affected. I've noticed it gets affected. So I think there should be one costume designer for the entire film. There should be.
But
like
what's their concern, their personal costume designers, just to maintain their overall I don't know, PR or something?
I don't know what is the actual thing here. I seriously don't know, because I think there is maybe the fact that there's a long association with the designer and an actor, so maybe
Could
that's
be.
why. And plus, I think because in the industry, the lead actors, the popular ones, are really strong. They hold a very strong position, so even the producer and director listen to that.
Correct.
Okay, fine. But I think ideally it should be just one. I'm speaking entirely for the film per se. There should be just one, designer, one production designer for the entire film, because it's like one vision and one look. Otherwise, what happens is, again, multiple people working, and then it kind of it doesn't look in sync visually. It doesn't look that great. I mean, I've noticed it. So, yeah.
Okay. So I was talking to one costume designer, and he was sharing his experience, and he said that so he worked in a Bansali film, and मेरे लिए first time था जब मैं सुन रहा था, तो he said that like for a Bansali film there are was one floor of entire something like just Deepika Padukone's costumes, one floor, like there are 3-4 floors, and Mr. Sanjay Leela Bansali, I think he's known to be very particular about these things.
I've never worked with him, but I know.
Is it a dream, first of all, to work with someone like him?
Yes or no?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Why?
because he's such a big name. Obviously
Correct.
I would want to work with him one day. No, because I've heard such stories that he's a taskmaster. He'll like squeeze you completely. But I think in a way it's important. It's a good way. There are certain directors who get the best out of you. I have experienced that with Hansa sir actually. He never nichodified me, but he gave me that space and that faith in me. He showed, and Scam was the result of that.
यही अपनी टीम को भी समझाता हूँ, बेस्ट प्रोडक्ट निकालो, वो छोड़ो, मेहनत करो बस. तो but is it just like a Bansali thing, or every this thing when there's a lister involved, is it just like a because I'm assuming, because okay, so why I'm asking this again, so I was on Tiger 3 set.
Achha.
And so they were shooting this climax scene and in the studio itself. So when I entered so my audition was supposed to happen there only, where the costume room was.
Right.
So I entered that, and I saw this huge stand of like army uniforms for the background people. And then there was this 2-3 cartons for, and it was written Katrina Kaif, 3-4 cartons for Salman Khan. And so like as a person who was just living this, trying to live this dream, I was very fascinated. So is it like just a A-lister thing, or will it be a Bansali thing, like this this
No, I think it depends from project to project.
Okay.
It depends from project to project. Like what you mentioned about Mr. Bansali's set, and like Deepika has any, I mean, that could be like a film like a Padmavat, I guess, maybe some which was a massive project, like.
Yeah.
So it depends from the director to director and project to project.
Okay.
Yeah, it totally depends on the requirement also. Like I was part of Ekta Tiger, the first one, and even like although I did all the supporting cast, but we had like too many actors to dress up in the film. Like we had there was a lot of research also which went behind it. We had to study the how Turkish people dress up, how people in Ireland dress up, how people in Cuba dress up. And finale was cheated. The climax we started in Cuba, but when we cheated in Thailand, so that I continued in everything, because in Thailand we had to show it as Cuba. So there are a lot of things that that come into the play of the. So I think it depends from project to project entirely.
Anything in the industry you think, if it changed and you would really appreciate it?
I think I think it needs to be more streamlined. I think people's payment need to come on time. Payment is a big issue. One thing I've noticed personally after COVID, if any producer has a little khulla haath na, that's not there now. I've noticed it. Like the projects that I've done before COVID and the projects which I've done after COVID. Before COVID, I didn't face that much of a problem in getting the payment. Payment was more or less on time. Even like the big names, production houses. But after COVID, there has to be there's a very obvious cost cutting happening at every level, like big time cost cutting. Like the even in terms of fees and everything, the budgets which are given, in terms of costume budgets which are being given, which are like I just look at the face like, how do you expect me to pull it off in that amount? Not possible. and even the payments are like getting delayed. So that is one change I've noticed post COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I've also heard this from a lot of people, and worry वही रहता है कि this doesn't become the norm because people start getting very comfortable in these things. But
I hope it doesn't become the norm, and I hope that if funding is the problem because of whatever reason, I just hope that that flow, the cash inflow should just become faster again. I think it's the overall economy thing. I feel post COVID, I think it has affected the entire industry in every department. I feel. Second thing I would like to mention here is that there's a huge pay difference between what an actor gets paid and then what a technician gets paid.
yeah, of
I
course.
think
But OTT से कुछ better नहीं हुआ है?
See, OTT से advantage what we've got is that we've got more work now. पहले it used to be only films or a TV. Now because of OTT, there are more projects being put together now. So I think more the merrier. That's the thing. That
Slowly we are going on that part. I mean, at least with the writers, I've noticed lately, because
so I
content
think
is king.
more projects are happening. So more options of projects to choose from is happening, and I think the pay. I think there's actually a very huge pay difference between what an actor gets paid and what a technician gets paid. I think that needs to, like, producer need to see here, a technician role is equally, ठीक है, actors they are the face of the camera, but technicians are equally important here.
Yeah, of course.
मतलब they may not be the face of the camera of your project, but at least there's so many people involved. So I think that needs to change. I think that is important
For all the people who want to get into this profession, and like you have studied from NIFT Mohali, right?
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of aspiring people studying in various NIFTs of different parts of the country. So how to get in? How to get into this profession? What's the right way?
See, whenever I go back, whenever I go home, people tell me, or people ask me, okay, now how do we start this and that? I tell them not to come. My reason are very simple. My reason are, it's not an easy place to be. It's a very ruthless industry. I'm not against filmmaking or cinema or anything. I just tell them that get into this profession, into films, only if you are extremely passionate about it. And that applies not only to this job, but whichever profession you want to get into.
Correct.
Choose a profession that you're naturally inclined towards. Like I was always inclined toward art, fashion. I was a kind of artistic child, so I was inclined towards that medium. I was very clear. I had studied in engineering, but I was very clear in my head.
Oh, you're an engineer. Okay.
No, I didn't study. I till plus 2 I had.
Okay.
I had non-medical. I was a non-medical student, but after non-medical, after plus 1, plus 2, I realized this is not something I want to do here. Engineering's not my this thing. I was like, no, I want to get into art and stuff. And I gave NIFT entrance exam. I got selected, and I'm glad I chose that because those 3 years really polished me. At NIFT Mohali, I think they really helped me in polishing my skills. Costume design is something that I've not learned in NIFT because there was no course of costume design there. Costume design is something I've learned it on the job. Like when I came to Bombay, then I wanted to get into this industry. I didn't know anyone, so one job led to the other job. And
how did you get your first job?
Long story, but I moved to Bombay and I didn't know anyone in the city, so I started living with my seniors from college, but they were into like proper jobs. So it just so happened that one of my teachers at NIFT, her senior from college, he was a movie director, like a music video director. She happened to visit me in Mumbai, and then she told me that why don't you meet him? Like I just happened to meet him, and he's a music video director. Maybe so. She gave me his number. His name is Mr. Sumit Dutt, and I contacted him, and I went and met him. And at that point of time, they were making a music video of some Punjabi singer, and they told me to just be part of it, just to see. And I went, and I was a complete duffer because I didn't know how it used to, how you function on a set. I was a complete duffer, but somehow I liked it. Interesting to hai ye. So then I was kind of associated with them. Then they were doing another music video. Then I was part of that. So I started learning in in every project. So then one job led to the other, and then the films happened. And once I got into films, which was Lagbach as my first film, and I got a chance to work with Mr. Arjun Bhasin, who's now set in Hollywood, and Aparna Chandra. So I worked with them, and uske baad I've been doing films only primarily because I've really enjoyed working on a film set. That was a great journey I had.
So, last question. So what's your eventual milestone in life? What do you want to, achieve? Or like you said in the beginning, कि जिस दिन मुझे ऐसा लगेगा, then I'll just do it.
See, materialistically speaking, earlier it was winning a Filmfare. It was my dream, like, yeah, I want to win a Filmfare one day. That happened on 9 December 2021. 9 December 2021, I came home after the event, slept. I was like, wow, yeah, it happened. The dream finally got fulfilled. From 10th December 2021, when I woke up, I was like, yaar, ab kya? Now what next? I think I just want to like continue doing my work. मतलब अभी ऐसा नहीं है. There's not like कि मुझे ये करना, मुझे Oscar में जाना, ये वैसा नहीं है अभी. But I just want to continue doing like good work, and the projects that I'm passionate about. And like for example, this last film that I've done, which was a Manipuri film, because I really like the story. It's a beautiful script. It's a children film, and I had never been to Northeast, so I wanted to explore that zone. So that was challenging for me, and understanding Manipuri culture, to live with those people and to understand their costumes, their clothing and everything. So that was something new for me. I don't want to continue doing the same work again and again. Like as a creative person, it's important for anyone to keep challenging yourself. कि यार अभी next project ऐसा करना है. So milestone वैसा नहीं कि यार मुझे ये करना है, but ये कि I just want to continue doing like work which really inspire me and which challenges me. And I think more than materialistic goals, I think I have more like I want to be content here eventually. Like I think that's the agenda now.
Yeah.
Like I just want to like live peaceful and just be content with whatever work I'm getting, and I just feel grateful of what I have also so far. I'm very content that way now.
Chalo, nice.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best for
Thank
life.
you so much, Anish.
And sorry to bother you with all the heat and everything. Aap to used to ho.
Yeah.
But honestly, personally, I wanted it like that because like our audience should get an idea of how the real on-the-job training or training and the work is like.
Right.
So I hope you were sweating all the way and they saw. मेरा तो टेस्ट था, इनका डेली का काम है, तो एस्टैब्लिश हो गया. बट थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you so much.
Lovely talking.
Thank you so much. Same way. Thank you. Bye.
So today's video is powered by Asaga. Asaga is a premium women's wear brand that specializes in creating premium handcrafted, gorgeous occasion wear for today's women that believes in both embracing traditional and modern styles, and their designs are inspired by and rooted in nature. So go check out their collection at www.asaga.in. Link in description.